You can change the whole direction of your financial future in as little as 6 months. And no, I'm not talking about creating some online course where you can launch within 30 days and make millions of dollars right out of the gate, or starting Amazon dropshipping business based off of a course that you purchased from someone on YouTube. Although there are plenty of people that have done these things and made a lot of money, that's not the way that we're going to be approaching this today. See, look, I'm looking for the easiest way to actually get some financial relief, right? I'm looking for people to be able to actually sleep at night. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through 6 steps, 6 months to actually get yourself on track financially so you can actually start to sleep a little bit better. You don't have to worry about if that phone call that's coming in is from a creditor. You don't have to worry about going to buy a home and you're not able to purchase your house because your credit's not on track. The very first thing that we're going to do right out of the gate, and that is the audit phase. So month 1 is all about the audit. And in this phase, we're going to be getting a whole picture of our financial life. We're going to be finding out what our credit score is. So we're going to be going online. We're going to be getting our credit score from the 3 major bureaus. We're going to understand what's on those credit reports so we can ensure that we have a full picture of our financial life. Let's face it, most people don't really know what their financial life consists of, right? So most of us will get paid. We might save a little bit of money, but we spend the most on junk and we don't really even know what it is. In this audit phase, we're also going to be figuring out how much income are we actually bringing in. Most of us should know this, but sometimes, sadly, we don't. How much is actually going out? And what is actually that going out to? Is it rent, utilities, or is it subscriptions and going out? We're going to figure this out at this stage in the first month. And then the last thing that we're going to do in this audit phase is we are going to completely change the way that our mind works. So this is a mindset shift. We're no longer going to be taking that victim mentality of how or why you can't actually get ahead. And we're going to change that to we are going to get ahead. We are going to change the habits that we have right now that have got us in this situation. And we're going to make sure we focus on how to get ourselves out of it. All right, so we understand where we are from a credit perspective. We know what's going in and coming out of our house from an income and an expense perspective, and we've changed our mindset. Now we're going to focus on month 2, which is creating our budget. And oftentimes, most people have never created a budget and they don't know where to start. And what ends up happening is we get into this situation to where we think that it has to be perfect. It has to be one way. And if it doesn't fit into this box, then we failed. I don't believe that. I think that budgets are tailored to meet your specific needs. And one of the easiest ways to actually get started is going with the 50-30-20 budget approach. So what that essentially is 50% of your income is going to be focused on your needs. That's your housing, your food, utilities, things like that. 30% is going to be focused on your wants. That's car payments, that's going out to eat, that's taking trips, whatever you want to do. And then 20% is focused on saving, investing, and debt pay down. Now, look, a lot of people might hear that and say 30% towards wants, that's a lot, or 50% towards needs, that's not nearly enough. Look, it's just a guideline. You could tweak this to meet your needs, right? So if you need 60% for your needs and you only need 15% for your wants and the rest are going into debt pay down and investing and saving, then that's fine. We're just trying to create a guideline that's going to help shape how we're going to be moving in months 3 and beyond. So don't get caught up on how to fit this in a perfect percentage box. Just focus on getting something that works for you so you can actually succeed in month 3 and beyond. All right, so we're rolling right along here and we're right into month 3. Month 3 is all about creating that financial cushion. I often talk about having an emergency fund on this channel. And my philosophy is a little bit different than most people in this space. I've seen people talk about having an emergency fund that's, 12 months worth of expenses saved in a high yield savings account. I'm more risk tolerant, right? I have more tolerance for taking on risk, which means I don't need as much money in my savings account just sitting there losing money to inflation. I like having 3 months worth of expenses in a high yield savings account that I can use whenever I need a repair or I need quick access to money But the majority of the money that I have, I want invested in something that's going to bring me a return. So it's going to be based on your risk tolerance. Some people are at 6 months, some people are at 9 months. You have to figure out what that is for you and get your cushion in place. If you're in an industry or a job where layoffs could be right around the corner, let's face it, AI is here, it's displacing jobs. Companies are not doing as well right now, and we're seeing layoffs. So at this point in your life, based on if you have a family or what's going on, you have to calibrate your risk tolerance and make sure that you have that financial cushion in place. So month 3 is all about establishing what your financial cushion looks like and then taking the steps to actually make sure that you can hit that goal. So we just laid the foundation to change the bad habits that we used to have from a financial perspective. So make sure you stick around for steps 4, 5, and 6, because now we're going to be getting into how we actually continue down that path to getting some financial peace in our life. All right, so we have our budget in place. We're starting to work on getting our emergency fund. So month 4 is all about cutting unnecessary fat. And when I talk about the fat, we're talking about the subscriptions, we're talking about cable, we're talking about your cell phone plan, which is the top tier plan that has all types of features that you don't need or even use. We're talking about your Apple One subscription. We're talking about gym memberships that you're not using anymore. We're talking about taking a look at your car insurance to make sure that that's right size to fit what you need. This is where you go through and you take like the scalpel approach and you start figuring out where you can eliminate things that you don't use but are costing you money. Look, I'm not the guy on social media that's gonna tell you never spend money and have fun and do the things that you wanna do. That's not me. That's never been my approach. But what I am saying is a lot of us spend a lot of money on things that we thought that we wanted, but we never use or we never needed. And we just continue to let that drain our accounts and it just becomes normalized. Not anymore, not in month 4. Month 4 is all about going in and right sizing everything in our life to make sure that the only thing that we're paying for is for things that we actually use and more importantly, things that we actually need. All right, so now we just went through in month 4 and we slashed all of the fat in our budget and in our life that was costing us money that had no value for us. So now we're starting to see we've got a little bit of extra money that we haven't had in the past. So in month 5, now we're gonna start taking a look at the debt. We're gonna be taking a look at that credit card debt, that store charge card debt, that student loan debt, any of that debt that's weighing you down like an anchor that you just can't get away from. The money that we shaved in month 4 is now all gonna be going towards that. We also created our 50-30-20 budget, even though it might not be 50-30-20, but I'm using that for illustration purposes. The 20% that we have in there, a lot of that's gonna be allocated to debt pay down as well. So we have money from our budget as well as money from expenses that we've cut that we can now allocate towards paying off our debt. This is where things start to speed up. This is where things start to happen because even though you have started to right size your life, the debt has always been there. And now we're focusing on removing that out of your life. I previously made a video about how being debt-free is the new flex, and I really believe that. We live in a world where going into debt to buy things that we don't even need, to impress people that we don't even like is the norm. And before most people realize it, you're thousands of dollars in debt, some people hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt before you even realize it. And then it's so extremely difficult to get out of it. So month 5 is all about attacking that debt and making sure that we could actually sleep better at night. Most people can't sleep good at night because they're in debt. They're wondering if they're gonna be able to pay their bills, and they're staying at jobs that they hate because they can't leave it because it has afforded them a lifestyle that they thought that they wanted when they really did. All right, so now we've made it to month 6, and by now your life has changed. The person that you were when you started this journey is not the person that you are right now. And now you're ready to take that next step, which is what I call the invest and chill step. So month 6 is where we start to invest and chill. I invest in a brand new portfolio that I started on this channel nearly 2 years ago. And I'm building out that portfolio in front of you guys so you can see there's no gimmicks. There's no quick way to building wealth. And starting in month 6, you now have a little bit of extra money to where you can now start to invest and chill with me as I invest in that portfolio to build out my financial future. And this is the start for you to do exactly the same. Look, a lot of us have bad financial habits, and it's things that we picked up just over the course of our life. And we've never really been taught the correct way to approach finances. See, in the US, most schools don't teach this, even though they should. And most people don't understand it. We're in debt in the US. That's just a fact. Over $1 trillion in credit card debt, car loans, cars being repossessed, homes being foreclosed on. And it's all because we can't control our debt. See, a lot of us make enough money. See, I often say that most people, not all, don't have an income problem, they have a spending problem. I can't make $60,000 a year and expect to live like someone that makes $260,000 a year, yet that's what happens. So we have to change how we approach our financial lives to ensure that we have a great financial future. I don't know, what do you guys think? 6 months is all it takes for you to actually get yourself on track financially and change the whole direction of your financial future. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree? And what did I miss? What are some things that you would have included to help turbocharge and supercharge getting on track financially?